Hello everyone, I'm Saket Bansal, and today I'm talking about Epic in Scaled Agile Framework. Epic falls under the portfolio layer of Scaled Agile Framework, which is the top layer, and it's primarily involved in ensuring a movement towards the strategic objective. So we have a strategic intent, which is represented by a strategic theme, but there has to be some steps, some initiative, some movement has to be done towards that particular strategic goal. So in Scaled Agile Framework, all the new ideas may be coming from based on the new emerging opportunities, may be coming based on internal discussion, or maybe coming because of the government compliances. These all ideas initiate a trigger which talks about that, okay, this is a big thing which we have to do, and it may produce some desired result. Now in Scaled Agile Framework, we use Epic as a container to put this big idea in it. And this container also get refined, means Epic get refined by way of putting more business case, like a lean business case, where we look into, does it really make sense to do this particular initiative? And if it passed through a reviewer process where a lean portfolio management group is involved to look at Epic and see that does it really make sense to do this particular work. In Scaled Agile Framework, since it is based on continuous inspect and adapt learning loop, for these large ideas, it is also recommended to identify a minimum viable product part inside it, so that when we are going through an Epic implementation, we pass through the MVP part first and validate whatever hypothesis we have made, are they really making some reality sense. Now, these Epic are different from generic Agile Epic. Now, many of you might be hearing Epic since you started your Agile journey. Anything which doesn't fit well in a sprint is called an Epic, and that's generic Agile language we have been using. So you have a product backlog, and if there is something big, it's an Epic. In SafeWord, Epic is not just large, it's significantly large. So it is not just about one sprint, it is about a significant amount of work, which may require more than one PIs, multiple PIs, and which may also require involvement from multiple value streams. Yeah, so there could be multiple Agile release streams, maybe working from a different value streams, doing part of the Epic work. So it's a significant amount of work. Some examples, say if you are in a credit card business and the company thinks of that looks like the knowing the customer is becoming more and more important, why don't we have a system which helps us in capturing customer moods by way of feedback and many other things? So it's a large initiative. It's an Epic. The another example could be similarly in the credit card business, you might be thinking of, we want to launch a product for a particular segment of customers, say government employees. And in order to do that, we need some changes or some large system change so that we can support this particular segmented business line. These are the examples of possible epics. Now, once I give this example, many of you may start thinking, oh, yeah, I know this thing. This is called project in our older words. So do you want to say that in SAFe we are calling projects an epic? So I can see that projects used to be a large initiative, the way the epics are, and they may also carry some business case along with it. But there are some differences which we should keep in mind, and they are more differenced because we are doing continuous inspect and adapt in an epic cycle. So epics, unlike project, they don't have a definitive start and definitive end date. They go through the flow and they get prioritized in the portfolio Kanban system as well as a portfolio backlog throughout the work duration. They don't have a temporary theme. So it's not like that you will form the team based on a new idea you got and then that team will take care of it. Epic gets worked on, yeah, like get allocated, or you can say the teams which are already formed in a different value streams take up the Epic and they start working on that. Epic usually work with a minimum viable product identification. So unlike project, which has a definitive large scope and which requires all the scope must be met, in the form of Epic, the idea is that what outcome you want to achieve. So the outcome is focused and it get prioritized. The scope is flexible. It's not like unlike project. And the MVP part, the minimum viable product part, also inside the epic get identified early, and it get worked upon first. And based on learning, good amount of scope adjustment may come inside that particular epic. So it's a large initiative, which definitely is looked through the eye of lean business case, but it is not like a project which is having a fixed scope and definitive start and definitive end and a temporary team. Now, the thing may come up that, okay, what all goes into an epic thing? So in general, you can say that epic has some details. You can talk about, it has a description which talks about what you want to make, what problem you are solving, what is your solution, how is it different from the existing solution in the market, what kind of a unique proposals or unique selling proposals you are coming up with this particular idea. It may have details of MVP, because we have been talking about MVP continuously. It will have a clear identification of the success criteria, what kind of an outcome you want to achieve. And it will also talk about some of the leading indicators linked with an MVP, that, okay, when you are implementing this epic, how do you know you are going in the right direction? So those kind of details will come up, and it will also have non-functional requirements attached to it. Now, after talking about epic this much, I also want to bring one more complexity. Then in Scaled Agile, we have two types of epics. We call them business epics and enabler epics. So business epics are again, the large initiative which will provide direct business benefits. The enabler epics, as the name tells, enables the business value in a future development. So you can say the significant amount of a technical work or some exploration on some architecture thing which will enable business delivery in an upcoming duration is done through the process of enabler. Now, after understanding this epic and thing, we may want to explore that, okay, how it get evaluated, how it get estimated, and how it get implemented. So as I said before, that since it's a large initiative, we need to look into the viability of it, the feasibility of it, and what kind of a business value we generate out of it. So in order to ensure that, in Scaled Agile, we have a portfolio Kanban system which takes the epics through a multiple stages, and which helps you, a lean portfolio management people, to evaluate and prioritize epic on a continuous basis. So epics get refined, prioritized, as well as approved or rejected in the portfolio Kanban and system. Now you may wonder, okay, but who writes epic? Who is the person who's responsible of coming up with these ideas? So in Scaled Agile, we call this particular role is epic owner. The people who really, like, someone is championing this idea, someone is championing the idea of collecting feedback from the customers, is that particular guy can be an epic owner for that particular epic, and he's the one who works with others, compiles the information, and present all these ideas to lean portfolio management so that they can do a judicious decision related to, should we go ahead with it or should we not. So that's the idea of epic review process. Now about estimation, as you may realize that it's a large thing and not fairly detailed, but still it requires some level of estimation, because we also need to prioritize, and the lean business case will require some amount of understanding how much amount of money is going to get invested in working on that. So in general, so epics get like disaggregated in features, and based on the current features which are from some other epics, what kind of a size, the story point size they carry, the stakeholders like product management, epic owners, and system architects come together, and they do a story pointing level estimation to these disaggregated features of an epic, and after that they aggregate back and come up with an epic size. Now don't take this epic size as a fixed size. It's not like that you have estimated, say, 2000 point and now epic should finish in 2000 point. As you go forward, the new details will get added, some things will get removed, so size can change. But the Scaled Agile has a matrix which shows that, okay, what was the epic size and what is the current size. So over a period of time, when this epic will get disaggregated into a features and a user story, you will see both type of size coming in. One was the initial size which was given at the first level, and then later one, how as we are elaborating, the more and more informations are emerging. about implementation. So approved Epic stores at a portfolio backlog. So that's like a holding place, and it can continuously get prioritized at a portfolio backlog also using the prioritization technique called weighted shortest job first. And based on the capability available in different value streams and release trains, if they have a capacity based on their velocity, they will pick up the Epic for implementation. Multiple release trains can work in parallel for a particular Epic. One particular release train may work like on two Epic at the same time, means they may allocate some percentage of their capacity to a particular Epic and other rest of the percentage to the other one. So it's quite flexible in that particular nature. Okay, if you want to know more about the Scaled Agile Epic, I would encourage you to check scaledagileFramework.com to find the latest and more elaborated information of epics in Scaled Agile.